koans are sayings or riddles, conundrums that don't necessarily have a logical answer. But in the Rinzai Zen tradition, wrestling with them can bring us to awakening. And if not, full awakening can give us insight to our condition of being human. So I want to share with you this koan. A monk is coming up to his master. His master's name is Ganto. And the monk is struggling. He comes up and he asks his master, or he's in interview with his master, and he asks him, when the three worlds threaten me, what shall I do? Ganto answers, sit down. So what are the three worlds? The three worlds are the worlds of form, of thought, and the world of desire. So everything. When everything threatens me, I'm being overwhelmed by life, what should I do, Master? The Master looked at him and he said, sit down. Not a terribly satisfying answer, is it? Especially if you think he's interviewing with his master, he's probably sitting already. He's like going, what are you talking about? I'm already sitting down. So let's put it to ourselves. Let's put ourselves in the monk's shoes. When he asked Ganto, his master, when I'm being overwhelmed by life, when life is threatening me, what should I do? What was this nameless monk asking for? What was he asking for of his master?
Insight, clarity.
Insight, clarity? Well, instructions. Okay? Solutions.
The easy answer.
The easy answer. Oh, monks never want the easy answer, ever. Yeah, they do. They're just like us. Okay?
Yeah. Fix. They want it fixed.
Yeah! Like, Master, this sucks. Fix it! And that's pretty natural. So from my perspective, when I was kind of looking at this koan, there's a couple of things that it brought to mind, and I want to talk about some of them. And that first thing is our desire to fix stuff. He's like going, Master, it's broken. Help me fix it. What is it about us Westerners that we're always needing to fix things? We need to fix the situation, we need to fix other people, we need to fix ourselves. And if we can't just find the right answer, the right formula, it's not going to work. And if we can just find the right answer, the right formula, everything's going to be okay. I can check off the boxes, and it's just going to be good. It's going to be okay. It's going to be right. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to feel safe. And when we hold on to this thinking tenaciously, we think, if I just keep doing this, eventually it's going to work. And how many of us have done that in our marriages, which are now our divorces, with our children, with ourselves in our own mind? We hold on so tenaciously to it, and we don't let it go, because there's got to be a formula. This has got to work. I'm going to make this work by a force of will. And that's where the tangle is. Because even when it doesn't work, we keep going, hoping it will work. We're addicted to the need to fix it. And some formula is better than no formula. Some steps are better than no steps. So let's go back to the koan. Gyomé Kabose Sensei writes about this koan in his book Zen Koans. And he writes, "The three worlds are neither good nor bad. They are neither right or wrong. They are neither threatened nor are they favorably disposed. The three worlds are just there. Things come and go beyond our control. Rain, wind, heat, cold, meeting, separating, growing old, dying. These are the realities of life, and one must face them regardlessly." So the monk is asking Ganto, what should I do? And Ganto's response is, sit down. So in a Western perspective, what is he saying? Do nothing. What should I do? Nothing. That's not exactly what he's saying. We as Westerners have a tendency that if it's not some formula that we can do, it means we're doing nothing. And if you think about it from the monk's perspective, or maybe you've had this experience, going to a friend, asking for advice, going to a therapist, maybe going to your sponsor, and saying, it's not working, what should I do? A lot of times they'll say, there's nothing to do. Not terribly satisfying, is it? One aspect of this ultimately is a matter of perspective. When we are thus addicted to fixing things, fixing situations, what we are saying at our core about the situation or the person or ourselves is it's not right, it's broken. And the more we hold or get attached to this perspective, the more animated we can be about it. Can you see it in your own life? Trying to fix other people? Trying to fix situations? To align on what you think they should be, or how they should be, or how they have to be? We don't know what the monk's situation was, but we do know ours. For many things in life, there are no clear-cut answers. There just aren't any. No nice, easy-to-remember formulas. The more we try to force solutions, have you ever done that? Try to force a solution? The more we try to force a solution, the more, and I love this quote, our thinking becomes distorted by trying to force a solution, and we become irritable and unreasonable without even knowing it. And it's in this unreasonableness that we close ourselves off. We close ourselves off from improvisation. We miss that one thing that can help with our clarity, with our insight. We can see that what we are trying to fix is not something that needs to be fixed, but something that needs to be fully experienced. And forced solutions have a sister, and she is avoided solutions, where we don't even try. Now, I want to put a disclaimer here. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we don't try to make some things in some situations better. This fixing is something different. It's about control. It's about trying to make the world in our image of what we think it should be or should not be. We are arguing with reality. A lot of times that's what we do when we're avoiding solutions. We're in denial. We don't want to do what it takes to make a change. What I'm trying to say is that the most things that we're trying to fix, we can't, and the things that we can, we don't. And I'm saying that both of these, this attempt to force a solution or avoid a solution, comes from the same source, and that's fear. That acknowledging the reality of what little control we have over most things, and our unwillingness to just really look. So many times we ask for an answer, But do we really want that answer? It reminds me of the AA prayer. Can somebody recite it? I want to share this quote with you from Brianna West, who's a meditation teacher. She says, wanting to help people feel better most of the time comes from a place of well-meaning. However, few people realize that not only are they not responsible for fixing anybody else, but it's impossible altogether. Mostly when we are fixing someone or something, we are not equals. That's something that is hard to remember. I remember realizing this years ago. In my family, the way I was raised to be a martyr and a caretaker. That was my role in my family. Right? And I always thought, oh, I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you. That's what I do. Look how compassionate one is. I help. I help. Let me lift you up from your sorrows. I understand you. And then I realized that a relationship like that can never work because you are standing above the other person. You are lifting them up. You are already placing yourself above them. You automatically start in an unequal relationship. It was a hard realization. That was a hard realization. They were always below me, needing me to bring them up to my level. This kind of relationship is supported by keeping that dynamic in task. If you identify yourself as a caretaker, the person that you're caretaking needs to stay there. Because if they stop being there, and you help them, and they get better on their own, well then the relationship's not going to work because now you're equal. Do you see the conundrum in that? So maybe it's not that anyone is broken after all. Maybe in reality, it's just that we're all dealing with a deep, unacknowledged woundedness. When I tried to fix my mom, I thought I could come up with the right words that would make everything okay. And when I couldn't, I felt powerless. I became a poet at 9 years old, trying to help my mom, not her. And my secret childhood crime was that I couldn't fix my mom. But I didn't realize then that fixing and healing are two different things. It took me years to realize what Pema Chodron teaches. Compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. It's a relationship between equals. Only when we know our own darkness well can we be present with the darkness of others. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity. When the monk was asking Ganto, what do I do? He was asking him how to fix it. But I think Ganto knew there was nothing he could do to fix it. Giving him an answer would have not have helped. But showing him a way to heal whatever woundedness in him that was there that gave rise to the question and the fear in the first place. And that was just sit. Sit down. Tibetan meditation master Dozang Dzar Kaitse Rinpoche says meditation is one of the rare occasions when not doing anything. Otherwise, we're always doing something. We're always thinking something. We're always occupied. We get lost in millions of obsessions and fixations. But by meditating, by not doing anything, all these fixations are revealed, and our obsessions will naturally undo themselves, like a snake uncoiling itself. We all are obsessed with our need to work things out. The monk said, "I don't understand," when Ganto told him, "Just sit." In today's vernacular, his response was probably, "What? What do you mean, sit down? What do you mean, do nothing? I have to do something." How many times have you felt that way? I have to do something. I can't just sit down. So, Ganto, being a master, looked at him, gave him something to do. He needed something to do. The monk needed something to do. So what did he tell him to do? Bring me that mountain. That was his response. I don't understand. Ganto says, bring me that mountain. When you bring me that mountain, I'll tell you what to do. He gave him something to do, to allow that part of his brain that needed something to do. But hopefully the monk understood that that something to do is impossible. So to get that easy answer is impossible. It's like bringing that mountain to your master. And here's the insight of Ganto's response. Noticing life requires a stillness of mind. The only real response is to sit. This is not inaction. The paradox is that by letting go, we can begin to see things differently. Change our relationship with the three worlds. They are just there. And instead of formulaic responses to them, we can develop a more intuitive and accepting response. In my practice, it's not that my sadness, my woundedness is something that needs to be fixed. I think sometimes that's where we get confused. I need to fix this. I've learned from my own experience when I sit quietly with it and just feel it, experience it, and not try to fix it, is when it's most transformative. When you're sad, be sad. When you feel that pain, feel that pain. So often we feel it, and we're feeling it as if though we need to fix it, we need to change it. We're wrestling with it. We're not experiencing it. We're avoiding it. And the way through it is through it, not around it, not about it, but through it. Maybe our need to be heard and seen that many of us have expressed is a shadow of our wounded self, simply wanting to be experienced, to be heard and seen. Chad Foreman writes, in the context of the meditative way of life, doing nothing can be experienced as the stillness of sitting meditation, as an effortless performance. Intuitive action opens receptivity to constantly changing circumstances. And I love this quote from Pascal, the French philosopher from the 16th century. Didn't think you were going to hear that, did you? All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. And every Sunday, we do that together as a sangha. To sit quietly in a room, together and alone at the same time. This way of understanding life brings us another advantage. Not to force solutions to problems, but to stay alert to opportunities, our doing something can keep us from a solution. When we practice true detachment or non-attachment, we do not feel forced to come up with solutions to problems. We're not attached to outcomes, but we are patient and we wait. And as we do it, we find that thing, that hidden knowledge we were ultimately seeking. When we sit down, we're practicing non-attachment. We are accepting our current experience as it is, in the way it is, and in its inherent impermanence. In this way, as Gyome Kabose Sensei teaches, acceptance is transcendence. Let the three worlds come and the three worlds go. Recognize the impossibility, like picking up a mountain. Let go of it all. And just be yourself. For me, just being ourselves is another phrase for non-attachment. Accepting who you are right now at this moment. Upset about a small thing or a big thing. Having the three worlds overwhelm you in some serious, deep, visceral way, or something as simple as traffic or clothes on the floor. It's all the same in the end. And this from Matt Valentine, which I want to close with today. Realizing that you are an expression of the entire cosmos is what non-attachment means. That you are in the cosmos, that the entire cosmos is in you in a very real and observable way, and that there is no separating the two, and everything that comes with that realization. When we're faced with the overwhelming aspects of life, and we're constantly wanting to find a solution, or fight it, or fix it, I like to always remember what I learned from body surfing when I was really young. When the wave takes you, instinctually what you want to do is what? Swim. Okay? Especially when it gets big and it starts shoving you into the sand. Okay? And you're scared, powerful. You're being tossed around. And you're trying to swim. I gotta get out. I gotta get out. And what does that do? It just drives you deeper. What? Makes it harder, yeah. Just it keeps you down. And it's not intuitive. But the way you get out of it is you stop swimming. You let go. You allow your natural buoyancy to take you to the top. And it's crazy the first few times you do that. So it's an analogy or a metaphor for our everyday life, for those times when we feel overwhelmed, when the three worlds are impinging on us, when the waves of life are crashing on us. Let go. Allow your natural buoyancy to bring you to the top, to be with it. Experience it, and to learn by going through it, not around it, not over it, not under it, but through it. Namo Amida.